Hey guys, Randy here. My little project for the day is to fix the water line going to the back of my refrigerator. One of the things I take most pleasure in life is having ice cold Crystal Light lemonade drink. And I've taken it for granted for so long that my ice maker would just put out ice day after day. And for some reason after the hurricane I discovered that there was a small leak in the little water line. Right now I've got it kind of covered up. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not enough light over here, but if you can see it, if I can get my head out of the way, you can see this orange thing right here. This is just a towel I placed over it because I was turning the water on at night or during the daytime and letting it drip into a pan while the ice maker made me enough ice to last me through the day. And finally I'm tired of doing that, reaching under the cabinet, turning the water line on and off every day. It's like, man, I really enjoyed having that ice. So I'm going to get off my dead ass and fix this water line if I can. I looked at some videos on YouTube about how to fix your water line since I didn't install this one myself the very first time it was hooked up. So apparently they're inside the little tiny water line. It's about the size of a pencil. It has a little metal insert that goes into the tip of the line, and then it has a little plastic kind of fitting over that, and then it has the main brass screw cap which tightens everything up against the refrigerator and keeps it all from leaking. And either my refrigerator water line has gotten corrosion on there, or it was loose or something. Anyway, got my channel locks. I'm going to see if I can't take it apart and figure out what's wrong with it. Might have to go buy some parts for it. May be able to just clean it off and put it back together. We'll find out. So I'm going to use my little smartphone to get a good photograph of the fitting so that I can insert it somewhere around this video, and you'll be able to see what I'm seeing and see if I can fix it. Yeah. So I don't really have any kind of enough room back here to set up my little small tripod and hold my smartphone here on the fitting itself. So hope you don't mind watching me from a distance, and I'll kind of narrate what I'm doing as I think I need to. Well, my first mistake, I need two pairs of these. One to hold the main valve steady against the refrigerator so I don't crack the existing copper tubing, and I need the second pair to actually turn the nut on the outside. I was looking for these earlier, my second pair, but I can't find them, so I'll be back in a minute. Well, that was quick enough. Found my second pair. Why is it always in the last place you look? In this case, it happened to be the first place I looked and the last place I looked. Anyway, I got these two pairs. I'm going to put one on the main valve, and I'm going to put one on the little brass connector where the plastic tubing goes into the main valve. There, that got it started. Fortunately, I was able to hold everything steady with two pairs of pliers and not cause any more damage and get it. I think I got it loose enough that I can feel right now I can unscrew it with my fingertips. So it feels kind of tight, the little brass outer fitting that screws onto the main fitting and pulls everything tight. Maybe, just maybe, something was installed wrong, because all I see, let me see if I can get my camera rolling again here. According to what I saw on the installation video I watched, there's supposed to be a little brass insert in the end of this tubing. See if I can get this thing to focus. Yeah, so even though it looks like it looks kind of dark and gunky, that's just the end of the plastic tubing. That's not a brass insert. So I have to put everything on pause, run down to the store and see if I can't get an insert for this. Since I do have plenty of extra tubing here, I have several feet of slack for moving things around. I'm actually going to cut a little 2 or 3 inch piece of tubing off the end if I can, and use that for my sizing chart when I go to the store, down to the hardware store. That's all for now. I'm going to pause everything and I'll be back probably half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay guys, I am back, and I will get my phone back out and show you what I had to purchase. Phone going here, and I'll show you. This is the original nut with a built-in, it's called a ferrule. Anyway, that's a little tubing thing in there that slides along the water line. Some of these have built-in ferrules in them, and some do not. I found out today when I stopped at the Mike's Hardware store on North 105 here in Vidor, and he was showing me the different fittings and stuff. He's been there forever, so he knows everything there is to know about water lines and general hardware questions, and probably a lot of hardware questions that I've never thought to ask. Anyway, this is the original, and he showed me 2 versions, one with the ferrule and one without the ferrule in the nut. And I wish I could get this to focus better. Maybe I can get to focus. Anyway, I took this little piece of tubing that I cut off the end, and there is the new nut that I bought with the built-in ferrule. And it's hard to see this, but I'm going to zoom in on my fingers here, if I can. Right about there, you can see that little bit of brass, and that's a little insert that fits into the end of the tubing, which was missing from the original tubing, because whoever installed it, and I'm pretty sure I know who that is, didn't bother to do it right the first time. So I can show you the whole thing. So I'll show it to you here while it's still partially inserted. Little brass insert, that's what keeps the water line from being crushed when you tighten down the outside nut. And this is what forms a little seal. Maybe it'll something that small is pretty hard to zoom in on. Anyway, I want to show you that thing that goes inside the water line. I need to make a straighter cut because I did botch it up a bit with my multi-tool. And of course I forgot to grab my scissors before I sit down on the concrete. So it's going to be a chore to get back up and get back out there and find my scissors. I know where they are. Anyway, I'll pause this thing again and go for it one more time. Hi, I'm back again. Finally got my scissors, and I got my box cutter. Got it just in case. I don't know which one of these is going to make a better cut, and I'm afraid that the scissors are going to crush the tubing and cut it cattywampus. And I think if I had a pair of like dog nail clippers, which have a rounded curve at the top of it's a circle. I can't show it inside there. It's a circle like that, almost kind of oval shaped, but the blade comes up from the bottom and pierces the dog's toenail or clips it off. And I kind of think that helps keep the dog's toenail from being crushed, and that might do the same job for cutting this water line, but I don't have one of those since I don't have a dog. So I'll just have to give this the best shot that I can with what I've got. And I'm going to try cutting this with the scissors first. Did a nice smooth job, but it's kind of at an angle. I need to straighten it out a bit. That still doesn't feel right. The box knife does a whole lot better job. It just slices through it like butter, but I can't get it level enough to suit my taste. Well, that's better. And I kind of show you the finished product there. It's not exactly level, as you can see. It does have a little bit of a slant to it, but come on now, zoom in there. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get without really messing things up. I'll tell you what, I've had stuff before when I'm like cutting wood or cutting plastic tubing, stuff like that. I cut it 3 times and it was still too short. I don't know what happened. I guess I'll need to go get me a pipe stretcher from Harbor Freight or something like that, or someplace like that. In case you're wondering, there's no such thing as a pipe stretcher. So this is what I'm going to put on first, the little nut with the built-in ferrule, with the threads facing the back of the refrigerator. And I'm going to kind of rub the end of the tubing with my finger to round off the end a little bit so that it will fit into the ferrule better, because it is fairly tight. And then with a back and forth clockwise, counterclockwise motion with my fingers, I've slowly worked the ferrule over the end of the tubing. Now I'm going to put the little insert into the tubing. If I don't throw it across the room first and lose it, should have bought 2 of these things. It's looking like it's fitting pretty flush. See, it looks like it's fitting pretty flush. Let's hope that it's waterproof, or watertight as well. I guess I'll find out soon enough. So I put it on there about finger tight, and I'm going to tighten up just a little bit. So you can see it on there, I got it finger tight right now. I'm going to tighten up just a little bit more with the channel locks, putting one channel lock on the nut and one on the valve itself to try to hold the valve stationary while I tighten everything up. Then we'll check it for leaks. Alrighty, well, I really only had to turn it about a turn and a half. Once I felt it snug up against the inside and it felt like it bottomed out, I don't want to turn it any more than that, or maybe just a hair more, because brass does bend, and if once you've bent it, you might as well go out and buy more parts. So it's better to have it a little bit under tightened, then test it for leaks, then tighten it up a little bit more if it does leak, than it is to over tighten it and mess up the little insert and just have to buy another one. So anyway, let me go turn the water on and we'll see what kind of leaks we have. Hey, seems like there's no leakage. I was wrong, I see a drop. I saw 1 drop. There's 2 drops. So I'm going to try tightening up just a little bit more. Okay, well, I figured out what the problem was. It's actually, I had 2 leaks. I still have 1 leak. The major leak was on the water line side, the plastic water line side, coming into the refrigerator. That was kind of spraying like a little water hose that had a pinhole in it. That's fixed. But now it seems like the side where the copper tubing that goes from the valve to the refrigerator is leaking a little bit, probably because of just old age and corrosion. I gave it a little, I mean, not even a quarter turn, just a little tightening, and that seems to have, if nothing else, slowed it down to so slow that I can't hold still long enough to watch it drip. Or it might be fixed, I'm not sure. Anyway, the drip is very, very slow. I mean ultra slow. So I'll just put a pan under there and see how long it takes to drip for the next drip, because this is the kind of fix that I'll need somebody. I think may need a plumber to actually fix this one, because I'll need to, I guess, have somebody who can cut and bend copper tubing, maybe even do some soldering, which I don't have the proper tools to do that. Anyway, the drip has slowed enough that if I can have my ice and not have to worry about the drip pan overflowing before the end of the day. So that's it for my little handyman do-it-yourself fix-it course. If nothing else, I hope you were entertained and learned how not to do something. That's sometimes more important than knowing how to do something, was knowing what not to do. The main takeaways is bring all the tools you need with you that you can possibly think of. Bring the whole doggone toolbox if you think you need more than just a couple of tools. Know where to go get the proper supplies. In this case, you know, going to a plumbing hardware supply store, a little home-based, home-owned, you know, single owner, not a big franchise like Ace Hardware. A little guy's been there for 30 to 40 years now. That's all he's ever done is sell hardware. So he knew his stuff backwards and forwards and could tell me what to do with it. And third, go to YouTube, look up videos. I had to look up 3 or 4 videos until I found the right one that fit what I was trying to do, which in this case was running a small tubing to the back of the refrigerator. Some of them had bigger water lines, and some of them were much more complicated than what I needed to have done. Anyway, this is Randy signing off for now, and I'll talk to you later.